Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl, Miss Purple P, your intergalactic goddess. Today is gonna be kind of a somber note. Today is 9/11 and it is the 18th anniversary of September 11th, which, wow, I can't even believe it's been 18 years ago. I was in middle school when that happened, and it was a very, obviously tragic and traumatizing day. I sat down in meditation this morning and I really just kind of thought about some things that I just want to share with you guys today. So if you are interested, keep watching. Okay, so I've actually moved to a new location. It's taken me a very long time to find a spot, and yeah, hopefully this message will reach whoever it needs to hear it, or whoever will resonate with this. That is my intention for the messages that I am sharing today. So this morning when I was in meditation, I was really reflecting on September 11th, 2001, which was 18 years ago to the day. And I think I can speak for pretty much all of us, or most of us, that was a very traumatic day for so many reasons. I mean, it was such an unspeakable, unthinkable act of violence. It was this event that really shook you to your core, and I felt like really tested a lot of people's faith, and it made people confused and shocked and just traumatized, and just couldn't understand why anyone would do such unthinkable acts. And why they were such unthinkable acts was because the things that were done were just purely intended to harm other people. Whether you believe that 9/11 was an inside job, or whether you believe that it was an actual terrorist attack, I think you really just can't deny the fact that there obviously were so many lives that were lost that day. And that space where it took place in New York City, where the Twin Towers used to be, all of that death, all of those lives lost, all of the shock of the entire city, and then the shock of the entire world, really, that created so much negative energy. And it's my opinion, well, it's a fact by science that energy can not be created nor destroyed. So where does that energy go? I had the opportunity to finally go down to the memorial, I forgot the exact name of it, but where they basically have a memorial for all the victims whose lives were lost that day in New York City. And I have been to New York several times, but I think earlier this year that was the first time that I actually got to make a trip to that particular area. And I knew that I needed to brace myself, just because I knew it was going to be really, really hard. The feeling that I got when I actually walked into that space, the energy that I felt, I couldn't even talk for a good few minutes. It was haunting. It was like the city was busy, but in that particular area, everything got really quiet. And I just remember just feeling overwhelmed with emotion, because I felt like I could just feel the horror and the terror of all of these people losing their lives in such a terrible way in a concentrated area. Whether you believe that the event was orchestrated from an inside place, or whether it was from an outside place, they were orchestrated by individuals that were harnessing low vibratory energies, and they used the energy of all of these people that had lost their lives, that had lost their families, that were in shock and horror. They used all of that energy, all of that collective energy, and they used it to instill fear. They used it to really push duality, to really create that division, to show we are separate, to show that you should be fearful, you should be scared to go to work, you should be scared to go to your job, you should be scared when you see an airplane fly in the air. And at that time, because the nature of religions and everything that it was around, and race, people were being racist towards Americans just because they looked a certain way, just because they held certain religious beliefs. They were being put in the same category as terrorists. And so it really was like, it was kind of like you look over your shoulder and you're not sure who you can trust. And these individuals, entities, powers, they really took this energy and they ran with it. And they used it to justify warfare, more bloodshed, more duality. I feel like they really did use that to their advantage, because for a very long time, as a nation, we were in a very dark place. And this is something that we're still recovering from. Since then, there's been more division in our country. You know, there's been more of this duality, separation, Republican, Democrat, right, wrong, left, right, conservative, and really just a lot of these political agendas that really, in my opinion, are just put in place. They're put in the matrix to make you think that you are separate from your neighbor, or the person down the street, or the person in the next state, or the person in the next country. You are all different, and you should all be different, and everyone should stay inside of their own cages. And the reason why I'm bringing all of this up is not to be a Debbie Downer. I want us to reflect on days like this, not just to mourn, not just to feel the grief and the sadness of the unthinkable acts that happened, but for us to not have our power taken away. Now, I was speaking to my boyfriend this morning, and he was telling me people are really afraid that there are going to be terrorist attack, and I said, why? And he said, well, because, you know, it's 9/11 and we're always heightened. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, I feel like we've been hearing that since 9/11 happened. We're always scared when it's 9/11, when it's the 4th of July. And that is exactly what these entities, individuals, beings that operate on fear, beings that operate on rhetoric, beings that operate on political agendas. It's to keep you in fear. When you are in fear, when you're in a constant state of fear, you are operating from a very, very low vibration. And if you are operating from a place of fear and your vibration is very, very low, it's going to be a lot easier to control you. It's going to be a lot easier to get inside that brain of yours. It's going to be a lot easier to really plant the seeds to keep you, he, she, us, them oppressed. And if you keep people oppressed, you can control them. I mean, if you think about it, that's exactly what abusers do to the people that they prey on, the people that they abuse on. They keep them in a low vibratory state. They keep them in a constant state of fear. And then they also push the boundaries to make you fearful of your life, but then go and save you. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna do all these things for you. Trust me. I've got you. So there's this like very toxic, negative, really abusive relationship that happens from control. Now you can really broaden this and think not just of an individual, not just controlling an individual. You could think of this on a larger scale of controlling the masses, controlling a community, controlling a nation, controlling a global view, a global idea of people, places, and things. Now again, I'm not saying all of these things so that you should be afraid to leave your house to live your life. In fact, what I am saying is quite the opposite. Instead of operating from a place of fear, instead of constantly looking over your shoulder, instead of thinking and buying into this belief system, this lie that you cannot trust the world, I challenge you instead to live from a place where you are operating from your heart. Operating from your heart means that you live your life based on trust, based on faith. I have a lovely friend who channeled a very lovely special message to me from Archangel Michael, and you know who you are. And the message for me was to use my faith as my shield. And that's really what I've been clinging on to lately. And that's really the only guarantee that I have. It's invisible, yes. It's not tangible. But my faith is my inner knowing. It's my insistence. It's not just a belief, it's a knowing that what is done in the dark will always be brought to the light. All you need is just a tiny bit of light to peek into the darkness for the dark beings, the dark entities, the dark actions to be exposed. Now, you could also play devil's advocate and say things like, well, we may never really know what happened on that day. We may never know because we were not there. And I want to ask you this. Have you ever thought that possibly was a programmed belief, to believe that if we were not there at that moment in time, that we may never know what happens? Look at the world right now. Look at the things that have been done, that have been being done by powers that be for decades, for centuries, that have been done in the dark for a long time, that people that were in power were so certain that they were golden, they were God, they were untouchable, that no one was ever going to catch them. And if they were caught, they wouldn't dare ever expose them because they held so much power. Well. Look around the world right now. See how many people are being exposed. The unthinkable things. The people that you trust, the people that you look up to, the people that hold powers, these men in power, these people that are given power, these people that are given the authority to be God-like, to be treated like gods, but to not treat people like they are God, because God is all loving. God is one. God is everything. God is in these trees. God's in this iPhone right now. Now, even though I am a fairy, a vampire, a unicorn, all of these things incarnated on this earth, I do not have the answers to everything. I do not know exactly why all those people had to lose their lives that day, other than the knowing that people took advantage of their power. They wanted to cause harm to people, and they did. They caused harm that will ripple for a very, very long time, and it's tragic. But it's exactly because all those lives were lost, all of that tragedy happened, it's so important for us to stay grounded. It's so important for us to really do the inner work. It's so important for us to love life, to live life to the fullest, to love people. You don't have to talk to people every single day. You don't have to talk to every single person in your life every single day for them to know that they love you. But just let them know that they love you. Live from your heart. Live from past the earth, past the stars, past the galaxy. Live from the heart. There's so much good in this world. There are so many amazing, amazing beings. Big, huge hearts. This is not a world that we need to be fearful of. It's a lie. It's not true. It's BS. We have been fed for far too long, and people are getting sick. They're getting sick from eating that bullshit. They're getting sick from eating all this bullshit for years and years and centuries, and people are fucking sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. For me, this day is a reminder that yes, there are bad people. There are dark forces that hold a lot of power. There are a lot of people, places, and things that have power that we will never know about in this matrix. But I do believe and know with all my heart, and from the assistance from my guides, that everything that is being done in the dark will absolutely come to light and be exposed. To sum up everything I'm saying, what I really want to drive home is, yes, unspeakable things happen. Yes, there's a lot of fucked up shit that's going on in the world, but at the same time, people, places, and things, they are giving it all they got right now because they know that their time is coming to an end. Duality is coming to an end. The old paradigms are coming to an end. Men controlling the world, it's coming to an end. The veil is dropping. People are waking up. People are thinking for themselves. People are questioning. Question everything. Go within yourself. What feels right? Just because someone told, just because I'm telling you, does that feel right to you? Ask yourself. You don't need to ask your neighbor, your mom, your sister, your brother, your uncle, whoever. Ask yourself, how does that feel? All these lives that we have lost, I just said a big prayer for them this morning during my meditation. I invite you, take the time out of your day to acknowledge them and maybe say the same. And I just let them know that their lives will not be in vain and that I honor them, I respect them, I cherish them, I love them, and we will remember them. So I am going to end that video on this note. Just remember, take care of yourself, take care of other people, be kind, live from the heart. Also, really quick before I go, I have been guided to really share messages that I've been getting, epiphanies that I've been having. I've been guided to share these on a more regular basis. So if you like this type of content from me, I feel very guided to do it. Let me know by giving me a like, a comment. Let me know how you're feeling. And I really do appreciate all your support. If you took the time to watch this far, my gosh, I love you so much. And thank you for dealing with all of this. And many blessings to you. And thank you.